All right, everyone, welcome back. Bear down, and this is the most exciting prospect that I found in this year's undrafted free agency class so far, and I had no idea who he was. I haven't looked a wink at him before today, and I'm telling you right now, I'm so excited. I mentioned yesterday we really didn't have a spot for undrafted free agency other than maybe to bring a center in and maybe bring in on the defensive line because this team is getting more and more stacked. We're finally getting to a place where the Bears are in a position to compete and not have to bring together scraps off of undrafted free agency. But as we know, there's always gems to be found. Jack Sanborn, TJ Edwards wasn't our gem, but we did sign him away. He was an undrafted free agent at one point, and it's usually not from your defensive line that you find these gems. But I'm telling you right now, I think Jamree Kromah is a gem. Look what we found here, guys. I'm going to show you. You guys know I was one of the first ones to be able to be touting Darius Robinson. When he was a 4th, 5th round prospect, I was touting him before the season started. He had a breakout year. Yeah, I might have just been lucky on what I was seeing. That's how it works sometimes, but I really saw something in him. This is the exact same thing I see in Jamree Kromah before the season begins. I'm telling you, there's something inside this kid that I like. Would I have looked into him if he wasn't an undrafted free agent to the Bears? Probably not, but he was. So now I've gotten a chance to look into him, and I love everything about him. We're going to go back and show a little bit of film, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about him, but this is his RAS score from his pro day that he held. And look at his size, 6'3.4", 274 pounds with a 31-inch vertical, 10-inch broad, 40-yard dash of 4.77. This is at the defensive tackle position. Now, he played equally at 3-tech and on the edge. He's very versatile. That makes him such a unique prospect that I love. I love this kid. He's going to be someone I'm going to watch really closely. Yes, I know we signed Keith Randolph, and I was really excited about him. I gave my list of guys that I wanted us to go get. Keith Randolph, Gabe Murphy, Eric Watts, Braden McGregor, Gabe Hall. There were a bunch of guys. Jamree Kromah was not on that list for me, and I think I'm more excited about him than our signing of Keith Randolph. Now, here's what I was talking about. Here's the comparison with Darius Robinson. Now, Darius Robinson's RAS score was 7.78, and there are some things Darius is a little bit better on. Darius is taller. He's a little bit bigger. He's slightly got a higher vertical, but his shuttle, his 3-cone, his speed, his 40-yard, his 20-yard split, they're all slower than Jamree, okay? So I'm not saying that Jamree Kromah today is Darius Robinson. Darius Robinson was selected in the first round, 27th overall, to the Cardinals. And there's a reason for that. He had a stellar year for Missouri, and I followed it, and I showed highlights of it. It was one of the very first videos that I made, and I really, really, really liked Darius Robinson. I didn't know if I would pick him in the first round, though. I said that as he came up. I said, guys, I don't know if this is where I would take him. I would have clearly taken him in the 4th, 5th round. I would have taken him in the 3rd round, and I'd take him in the late 2nd round. But as a first-round prospect, I don't think so. Well, I think we just got a steal with Jamree Kromah. Is he going to be a stellar starter today? Is he going to be the Bears slam dunk guy to come in and get 9 sacks in year 1, coming as an undrafted free agent? Probably not. But I'm telling you right now, there's a lot to like about this kid. He stood out at James Madison in his first FBS season. He was first-team All-Sun Belt, invited to the East-West Shrine Bowl. He was on Rutgers roster for 3 years before transferring to get his shot, and his lone breakout season came this last year. It was his breakout season. It left him with NFL intrigue like crazy, and I don't know how I haven't seen him before now, but he's still got a lot more to prove, which makes him a developmental prospect, okay? But the thing with that elite, that first step right there, explosive. You'll see him. He's lining up right there at 3-tech. He's lined up on the outside. He's lined up over tackle, and almost equally, about 33% of the time over tackle. So 2/3 of the time at defensive end, but right there, defensive interior, and he amassed 9 sacks this year with 42 pressures total, 60 tackles, and 20.5 tackles for loss. He's extremely efficient against the run with an extremely low 7% missed tackle rate, and he's got rare versatility, playing at all 3 spots on the line. He's like DeMarcus Walker. He's like many that we've fallen in love with because of that versatility that he has. And I just can't help but see this kid as someone that Washington really wanted to bring in and see if he could refine, because he's raw. And the other thing too, I just noticed that when I was looking at his individual RAS, look at him against Darius Robinson, smaller hand size, but his arm length is even longer than Darius Robinson's arm length. And maybe this isn't a fair comparison, but it's what stuck out to me as I was watching that tape just barely. It's what stuck out that I see in him that I really think there's high upside potential to develop this kid. He could have that jump year like Darius Robinson had, and with that explosive first step, he could be a monster that jumps off the line and really attacks. So I did a little comparison. You guys know that Leatu Latu is my favorite defensive end in this class. Well, he ended up going first. I ended up being right. Sorry, that's not necessary. But Leatu Latu ended up going first defensive player off the board to the Colts. Then I put Jamree Kromah on here and Darius Robinson, and then Byron Murphy, because he did play interior and defensive end. So I lined all these things up. There's the height and weight. Jamree Kromah has bigger size than almost every other. Sorry, I got to go back to this before I talk to you guys. But almost any other defensive end in this class, he fits the mold of that big-bodied but quick still. Yes, if you look, his sack hit hurry, his pressures were lower than the top guys in this draft, but we're comparing him to the top guys in the draft. If you compare him to other defensive tackles, he's right in line with guys that were in the second, third, fourth round. His missed tackle rate is extremely low, still producing forced fumble. He produced a forced fumble, and he had a fumble recovery. His PFF grade for run defense was 80.6. You see where the lack is on the next line over, pass defense, 64.2 grade. If that grade was up, if he can get a little bit more coaching on his pass defense, 64.2, bring that up into the 70s, he's easily a day 2 prospect this year. I am so freaking excited to see what this kid can do, to see what he can come up with. So of all the prospects that we have as undrafted free agents so far, this is the one I wanted to highlight first, because I really think this kid has the potential to develop with the highest ceiling of what he could become. Maybe he doesn't make the 53-man roster this year. Maybe he gets put on the practice squad and maybe he gets stolen. Or maybe throughout OTAs, throughout camp, throughout the 90-man, he gets in there and he battles his butt off and he finds a way to make it in to the 53-man. I don't know. That's the miracle of what we hope for. That's the underdog that we root for. There's always a guy every year we're rooting for. And so far, this kid, I looked at all of them tonight. This is in the middle of the night I'm recording this. I'm going to release it in the morning. I am so excited to see what this kid does. I seriously think we might have just found another diamond in the rough. He's someone worth being excited for. I'm excited to follow him on his path, and he seems like a hardworking, dedicated, explosive step, big size, big body, fits the scheme needs. I want to see where this kid goes. Tell me what you guys think in the comments, because I am super impressed right now with what the Bears have scouted, what they've found. He was at the East-West Shrine Bowl. I'm assuming that's where they found him. That's where they talked to him. I'd like to know the backstory, but this kid gets me excited, so I want to see what happens. And we do. We need another defensive tackle. We need more help on the line. This is something the Bears could use, and this is something that's getting me really excited to see what happens at rookie minicamp, to see what happens at OTAs, to see what happens as he develops. I want to see what happens. This is going to be fun. All right, until next time, thanks for tuning in. As always, if you don't mind hitting the like button, and until next time, bear down.